Imagine a child who is not growing properly, a patient whose wounds refuse to heal, someone who suddenly loses the ability to taste food, and a man suffering from infertility. At a first glance, these problems seem incompletely unrelated. But what if I told you that the only tiny mineral deficiency could be the responsible for all of them? That is the mineral zinc. Today we will understand zinc conceptually so you never have to memorize this chapter again. Before we start, why MBBS students study zinc? Because zinc is one of the most important trace elements in the human body. It participates in hundreds of enzyme reactions. It is frequently asked in our university examinations under mineral nutrition, and clinically zinc deficiency is encountered in children, elderly patients, alcoholics, patients with malnutrition, and those with chronic illnesses. By the end of this lecture, you will understand why zinc affects growth, immunity, wound healing, taste sensation, and reproduction. Let's begin with one interesting fact. Total amount of zinc present in the human body is approximately 2 grams. Think about it. Only 2 grams in the entire body. Yet without it, hundreds of biochemical reactions stop functioning properly. Now here's another important point. The prostate gland contains one of the highest concentration of zinc. This immediately tells us that zinc must have important role in male reproductive function. Another important fact, unlike calcium which is mainly present outside the cell, the zinc is predominantly an intracellular element, and that means most zinc is found inside the cells where it acts as a cofactor for the enzymes. Remember cofactors. If our body contains only 2 grams of zinc, can we manufacture it ourselves? No. Like iodine also, zinc is an essential dietary mineral. We must obtain it from food every day. Now the next question is, how much zinc do we need daily? Means the RDA adult requires approximately 10 to 15 milligram per day, but during pregnancy and lactation the requirement increases by the 50%. Why? Think logically. During pregnancy the growing fetus requires zinc for rapid cell division, growth, and organ development. During lactation, zinc is also secreted into breast milk to support the baby's growth. So the mother's requirement naturally increases. So there is one exam point that the pregnancy and lactation increase the zinc requirement by about the 50%. This is commonly tested university question. Now let's talk about where zinc comes from. The richest dietary source includes the meat, fish, egg, milk, beans, and nuts. Now, here's an important observation: animal foods generally provide better absorbable zinc than the plant foods. Why? We will understand that while discussing absorption. Here's one the remembering trick that main brings nutrition. Main M means meat, E means eggs, N means nuts. Then add fish, milk, beans. Simply too easy to recall. Suppose two people consume the same amount of zinc, will both absorb the same quantity? But not necessarily. Let's understand why. The major site of zinc absorption is in duodenum. Once the zinc enters the intestine, it doesn't simply diffuse into blood. It requires transport protein, that is the metallothionein. Think about the metallothionein as a carrier or a transporter that safely binds zinc and helps regulate its movement inside the intestinal cells. First, food. We taken food, then it absorbed by the duodenum. There is one carrier protein, metallothionein. Then it zinc absorbed into the blood, and then finally goes to the body tissues. Now here's an interesting point from your notes. Animal sources are absorbed better than vegetable sources. Why? Because of many plant foods have the phytates, means the phytic acid. Phytates bind the zinc inside the intestine and form the insoluble complexes. Once zinc is trapped, it cannot be absorbed efficiently. This is why zinc from the vegetarian diets may sometimes have lower bioavailability. Amino acids promote zinc absorption. You can think of amino acids as helping zinc stay soluble and easier to absorb. Severe minerals compete with zinc inside the intestine. According to your notes, phytates, calcium, copper, and iron. All of these interfere with the zinc absorption when present in excess. Here is one remember trick that PCCI pushes zinc away. Who pushes zinc away? PCCI. Phytate, calcium, copper, and iron. Now let's discuss the serum zinc. Now serum zinc concentration is approximately 100 milligram per dl. Another important point that the red blood cells also contain zinc where it is associated with the enzyme carbonic anhydrase. This tells us something important. Zinc is not just a mineral floating in blood, it is tightly linked with enzyme function. We will learn in next. Here, so far we have understood where zinc comes from, how it is absorbed. But here's one question: what happens if the body doesn't get enough oxygen? Can one mineral deficiency really affect growth, wound healing, test sensation, immunity, or even fertility? Yes, let's understand why. Remember one important concept: zinc is the part of the hundreds of enzymes. So, when zinc becomes deficient, the body doesn't fail in just one place. Almost very rapidly growing tissues begins to suffer. That's why zinc deficiency has so many different symptoms. Instead of memorizing them, let's understand the logic behind each one. Imagine you are constructing a building and but suddenly all workers disappear. Will the construction continue? No. Similarly, the growth requires continuous cell division and protein synthesis. Mainly of these reactions depend on the zinc containing enzymes. So the zinc is deficient, cell division slows down, protein synthesis decreases. As a result, children develop growth retardation. Here is one clinical question: that a child with a poor growth despite adequate nutrition should always be evaluated for micronutrient deficiencies including zinc. If zinc helps to cells grow, what do you think what happens to damaged tissues like wounds exactly? Every wound heals every wound heals through new cell formation and collagen synthesis and tissue repair. All these processes require zinc. Without zinc, new tissues form slowly, so wound cells become so much slowly than the normal. Patients with the chronic ulcers, burns, surgical wounds are sometimes given zinc supplements to support the healing. Now here is the something interesting. Many zinc deficient patients complain food has no taste. Why? The zinc is required for salivary protein called as the gustin. Gust is essential for the normal function of the maintenance of taste bud. Without enough zinc, taste sensation become impaired. This condition is called as hypoglycemia. As a food taste buds, that patient gradually loses appetite as well. Memory trick is here: no zinc, no gustin, and no taste. Remember, let's move further. Zinc is essential for DNA synthesis and cell division. Rapidly dividing cells are affected first. Bone marrow cells produces RBCs cells rapidly. So zinc deficiency may contribute to anemia. Now think about another tissue with rapid cell division, the testes. Sperm production is a continuous process. Without adequate zinc, normal spermatogenesis is impaired. This is why zinc is important for male fertility. The prostate gland contains high concentration of zinc. Now the reason becomes clear. Can zinc deficiency affect the brain? Surprisingly, yes. According to this, zinc deficiency may produce depression, dementia, and psychiatric disorders. It also suggested that some neuropsychiatric manifestations seen in chronic alcoholism may partly be related to zinc deficiency because alcohol interferes with nutrition and zinc metabolism. Always remember, patients with chronic alcoholism often have multiple nutritional deficiency, not just one. Now let's discuss the very important inherited disorder. Imagine a child is eating enough zinc but the intestine cannot absorb it. What will happen? The child will still become zinc deficient. This is the rare inherited disease that is the Acrodermatitis Enteropathica. It caused by the genetic defect in intestinal zinc absorption. So even though dietary intake is normal, body cannot utilize zinc properly. Here is one question that acrodermatitis enteropathica is caused by congenital defect in zinc absorption. Now let's discuss the opposite problem. Can too much zinc be harmful? Yes. One classic example is seen in the welders. During welding, workers may inhale zinc oxide fumes, ZnO2 fumes. This can produce zinc toxicity. According to this, nausea, gastric irritation, and ulcers, anemia, excessive salivation, and pancreatitis will occur. Whenever you hear the history of the welder with fever, nausea, metallic fume exposure, always think about the zinc oxide fume inhalation. Let's revise quickly. Zinc deficiency causes growth retardation, loss of appetite, loss of taste, poor wound healing, anemia, impaired spermatogenesis, depression, and psychiatric manifestations. Acrodermatitis enteropathica, this is the congenital defect in zinc absorption, rare inherited disorder, common in zinc toxicity, common in welders, due to zinc oxide fumes inhaled, causes nausea, gastric ulcers, anemia, excessive salivation, pancreatitis. A 6-year-old child has a poor growth, delayed wound healing, and complains that food has no taste. Laboratory investigations reveal low serum zinc. Which salivary protein is most like deficient? It is the gustin. Let's see biochemical functions. So far, we have learned that zinc is how it's absorbed, what happens when it's deficient. But here is the most important question: why does the body need zinc in the first place? Why does zinc deficiency affect growth, wound healing, taste sensation, immunity, and reproduction all the same time? The answer lies in the biochemical functions. Let's understand them one by one. Students often memorize the functions of zinc as long as the list instead of remember just one concept. Zinc is an enzyme mineral. It acts as a structural or catalytic component of the hundreds of enzymes. If the zinc is absent, many biochemical reactions slows down or stop. Everything else follows from the same and single idea. According to this, zinc is an essential component of several enzymes. Some important examples are carbonic anhydrase, carboxypeptidase, alcohol dehydrogenase, and alkaline phosphatase. Here is one trick for this, that's C2A2. Carbonic anhydrase, carboxypeptidase, alcohol dehydrogenase, alkaline phosphatase. Write these enzymes in a box and underline them. Now let's understand their importance. Carbonic anhydrase, this enzyme helps in maintaining acid-base balance and carbon dioxide transport. Alcohol dehydrogenase is helped in that one reason chronic alcoholics often develop zinc deficiency and altered zinc metabolism because it helps in metabolize alcohol in the liver. Alkaline phosphatase, this enzyme is important in bone growth and many metabolic reactions. Carboxypeptidase, it helps to digest proteins by removing amino acids from the peptide chains. Apart from enzymes, can zinc protect our cells? Yes, every day our cells produce harmful molecules like free radicals. These unstable molecules damage DNA, proteins, and cell membranes. Fortunately, our body has antioxidant enzymes. One of them is superoxide dismutase. According to this, zinc is an important component of this enzyme, and superoxide dismutase converts toxic superoxide radicals into less harmful substances, protecting our cells from the oxidative damage. This antioxidant role explains why zinc supports the immunity and tissue repair. Here is something many students don't know, that the zinc also plays an important role in the pancreas. Inside the beta cells of the pancreas, insulin is stored together with the zinc. Zinc helps to stabilize the insulin molecules inside the secretory granules. When the blood glucose rises, these granules release insulin into bloodstream, and zinc contribute to both storage and secretion of the insulin. Here pancreatic beta cell, there is insulin and zinc is there. Then storage will occur and insulin can be released if there is requirement. Can one mineral also influence another vitamin? Absolutely. According to this, zinc helps to maintain normal levels of vitamin A in the blood. But how? Vitamin A travels in the blood attached to a protein called retinol binding protein RBP. Retinol binding protein. Zinc is required for synthesis of protein. Without adequate zinc, retinol binding proteins decreases. As a result, vitamin A cannot be transported efficiently. This is why the zinc deficiency may indirectly affect the vision and epithelial health. Here is that the no zinc, no RBP, and no vitamin A transport. We have already discussed this clinically, and now let's understand the biochemical reason for wound healing requires the cell division, protein synthesis, collagen formation, and DNA synthesis. Many of these reactions require zinc-dependent enzymes. Therefore, adequate zinc speeds up tissue repair and wound healing. That's why the doctor sometimes recommends zinc supplements in the patients with chronic wounds and burns. Do you remember the patient who said food has no taste? Now you know why. Zinc is required to production of the gustin, that is the zinc containing salivary protein. Gustin maintains the normal structure and function of taste buds. Without zinc, taste sensation become impaired. Let's talk about the reproduction. Remember what we learned, and prostate gland is rich in zinc. That is not a coincidence. Zinc is essential for normal spermatogenesis, sperm maturation, and male reproductive health. Deficiency may lead to infertility in males. In men with nutritional deficiencies and infertility, zinc status is one of the factors that may be evaluated. Dietary zinc goes to the duodenum. There is one protein, transport protein, metallothionein, that transports zinc into the blood, then our cells, and then that the zinc is used by the enzymes that are carboxypeptidase, alcohol dehydrogenase, then antioxidant protection, insulin storage in pancreas, transport of vitamin A, wound healing, taste sensation due to gustin, and in the prostate for normal reproduction. If you remember this flowchart, you have understood entire the zinc chapter. Let's revise everything. Total body zinc is 2 gram, intracellular mineral, prostate region zinc. Adult RDA is 10 to 15 milligram per day. Pregnancy it's increase up to 50%. Major absorption site is duodenum. There is transport protein, that is metallothionein. Zinc deficiency causes growth retardation, poor wound healing, loss of appetite, and loss of taste sensations, loss of appetite, impaired spermatogenesis, rare inherited disorder, Acrodermatitis Enteropathica. It is rare inherited disorder. Antioxidant enzymes like superoxide dismutase required for insulin storage, vitamin A transport, wound healing, taste sensation, and the reproduction. Here we covered all the zinc about all the zinc topics. So if you like it, please share, like, and subscribe. Thank you.